is ZeBirdBrain, and today we are talking about drawing, but more specifically how to draw on top of your rig. I know I covered in the past that we could use the show current drawing on top. If you haven't seen that video, please go check it. I'm gonna link it into the description. This is kind of a part 2 of how to draw on top of your stuff in Harmony. But yeah, when you're doing this with a rig, let's say that I have a layer in my scene that is like not part of my rig, like I just put it here in front of everything, and I want to draw. Sometimes the drawing will be behind, even though I put it in front. This is because of the Zdepth happening in a rig. This happens all the time. So if I'm trying to draw like a new mouth or a new expression for my character, it's gonna work until I release and it goes behind. Like it's not erased, it's really just, you know, behind the head. Of course, if I use the show current drawing on top, it will show me my current drawing that I have selected on top. But if I deselect it and I choose another one, it's going to, you know, go behind and stuff. So it's not very accurate for that. And if I play back, it's also going to stay behind. Right, so that's not my best option if I'm trying to draw like key poses or drawing on top of my full rig, like for either retakes or references. So it's good for quick little things, but it's not good for actual like quality work. So what I do usually is I have a little pre-made thing called my sketch box here. And if I go in it and I use my layer here, I'll be able to click there. And even if I don't have show current drawing on top and the lightable active, so like I deactivated all of them, if I go into my sketch layer here, I am able to draw, and it's always going to be in front of my character. Even if I play back, and even if I render or anything, it's always going to be in front of my character. So this is my preferred method. And as you can see, it involves a bit more nodes and stuff than just like clicking on a tool. But the good thing is that even if I delete it from my scene right now, it's part of my library of things I use commonly. So my white mask sketch comp, I can just click and drag it into my node view. And then when I import it, I have, you know, my white mask and my sketch layer. So it's very easy. I just need to, you know, import it in my scene, and then I can just start drawing on top of it. So how do I make it? I'm going to show you this in little steps. All you need is very simple. It's 2 layers. First, you're going to need a white mask, and then you're going to need a sketch layer. Make sure that you extend the exposure for the whole scene duration. For the white mask and for the sketch, it's up to you. So then I have my 2 drawing layers. I'm going to unite them under a composite. I do that by pressing on Ctrl H. Even on a Mac, it's Ctrl H, not Command H. And just because I'm a good person, I'm going to rename this as my sketch comp or draw over or whatever you want to name it. I leave it there. I'm going to connect it to my composite. And then in my white mask, I'm going to draw a white mask. But before I do that, I'm going to go in my colors. Now, of course, mine I already have it. I have my sketch palette, but you know, you would need to make yourself a sketch palette, then you make a white mask, color for your rough and for your final. And the good thing is that whenever you import this into your new scene, it's going to come with all the appropriate palettes. So that's great. Then I'm just going to go here in my camera view and make my white mask and fill it with paint. It's important that you do this when your camera is turned off, so that whenever you import a new scene, it's going to always be into the middle of your Harmony scene. Because sometimes if you made a camera movement and you draw this, it's going to be like centered to your camera movement, but then if you import it into like another scene, it might be a mess. So, you know, here I deactivated my camera, because if I activate it, then, you know, it might not be well centered and stuff. So, you know, deactivate your camera, because then you can always then move your layers and stuff. Okay, so keep it neutral. I have my white mask here. My white mask, what I do is I lower the opacity, and I have been told by a reliable source that it is lighter on the software to lower a layer more than lower a palette. Now, it's your choice to believe me or not, but I would rather believe it. So I'm going to take my layer here, go into my timeline, press on this little thumbnail icon, or press on the letter T, it's up to you. And then I'm going to take my opacity and maybe lower it to like 50 or something, just so that my layer is less visible. And as you can see, my layer is still very visible. This is because I used the show current drawing on top, which bypasses the opacity thing. So just make sure that you don't have this selected and you'll be good. But now you can see it's kind of annoying. It goes through my rig, so it kind of defeats the purpose, right? So the next thing you have to do is make sure that both of your layers, you unite them under a peg. I'm going to call that my sketch peg or something. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it in front of my scene. To do that, I'm going to go into my top view, get my trusty maintain size tool, you know, select my peg, and then, very important, you want to go into your toolbar, make sure that you choose animate off, because you don't want to keyframe that thing. I'm going to choose animate off, and I'm going to bring that in front, very near to my camera. Not too close, because that's crazy, but you know, like near your camera, so that whatever happens in your rig, like 99% of the time, your animation that you draw on the sketch layer here will be in front of your rig. The reason why sometimes your drawings go through your rigs and stuff is because when we animate rigs, we bring things in front and behind like 0.01 units or something. So, you know, it's pretty sure that if it's that close to the camera, you're never gonna have any accidental head popping in front of your layers and stuff. And once this is done, that's it. I can just go now on my sketch layer, pick any color that I need, and I'll be able to sketch on top of my rig. And even if I hit play, it's still gonna work because this is constantly in front of my rig. Once you're done, if you want, you can take your little layers, put them into a nice little backdrop. I'm gonna call that my sketch or something. And then you take this, you can copy, and you can just paste it to your library. Now, if you don't know how the library works, go check my video on the subject, because for today, we are done. Once you have your sketch comp, all you'll need to do is bring it into anything that you want, and you can have as many as you want in your scene. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, so it takes like 2 minutes to do it up front, and after that you can use it forever, so it's very useful, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye!